Zapala. First on KMIR News today, a corruption investigation at Palm Springs City Hall wraps up, and right now 3 people are facing 30 different charges. The district attorney formally filed those charges today against former Palm Springs Mayor Steve Pugnet and developers Richard Meany and John Westman. Our Kitty Alvarado was at this morning's news conference held by the Riverside County DA. She's here now in studio with us with this story. Kitty.
The district attorney says the alleged bribery from developers Westman and Meany to the former mayor was so obvious he described it as brazen. If convicted, they face at least 12 years in jail. After a 17-month-long investigation, Riverside County District Attorney Mike Hestron announced formal criminal charges in the city of Palm Springs corruption case.
We've filed a criminal complaint in the Riverside Superior Court. It is a 30-count criminal complaint. The individuals charged are Stephen Pugnet, Richard Meany, and John Westman.
The 12-page complaint shows the alleged criminal activity starting on July of 2012 to March of 2015. The charges include bribery, conflicts of interest, perjury, and conspiracy to commit bribery.
Richard Meany and John Westman were working together to bribe the mayor. And so the monies obviously were traveling from the developers to the mayor, and then, in exchange for influence, for favors.
The complaint says through the years, the former mayor received a total of $375,000 in exchange for favorable deals with the city. The DA says their actions were bold and careless.
And their payments run through shell companies or fake organizations, and then paid to the mayor. It's pretty brazen and pretty obvious once you scratch the surface.
The DA says City Hall employees played a big role in the investigation.
And there were whistleblowers in City Hall that also helped the investigation along.
These charges place city projects in jeopardy, including the downtown redevelopment project.
Unfortunately for Palm Springs, in a sense, there's going to be some difficulties in untangling this, because when you have contracts that came about and entered into where there was a conflict of interest, then those contracts become voided.
The DA says those who violate the trust of the people will be held accountable.
People that hold office, you're held to a higher standard, and nobody's above the law.
Former Mayor Steve Pugnet's attorney tells me the former mayor is still in Colorado, and he gave me this statement. It reads in part, the allegations failed to take into account that he was just 1 vote out of 5 on the city council, and that every project had a full hearing before the decision was made, that the project was good for Palm Springs. Steve is proud of his service and continues to take pride of the work he did. The district attorney says the investigation is not over and federal charges could be next. He expects Pugnet, Meany, and Westman to surrender within a week, and bail was set at $25,000, and he expects them to be released on that bail. Janet?